Is it okay with my stream? Hello? 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 Hi? Is it okay? No. Hello? Is it okay now? Now it's fine. Good. So King c2 wasn't so good. a3 played Steinitz and they exchanged pawns, and this is totally drawish. Bishop e5. Draw. So again Zuckertort will have white, and now he didn't play e4 anymore, I hope. So what he played? So he played d4, c4, and bishop f4. Interesting line. I played this against Gabriel Sargsyan. Modern theory here is c5. It's the best. And now e3, not the most active move, because in Panov attack, after these moves, bishop f4 is not considered like the best for whites. It's possible, but according to modern theory, more precise to play knight f3. I also tried to take several times and bishop d3, this idea to have knight g2 with bishop b4. So he played bishop f4. Okay, he played bishop f4 later, but now he played bishop g5 in next game, and choice of Steinitz was quite strange. So he played c5. Usually black is playing bishop e7 and castle. c5, c takes d5, there is c takes d4 now. Now it's interesting. After queen takes d4, bishop e7, there is some theory. Black has some compensation for the piece, but I'm not sure if it's enough compensation. I remember something like this, like recommendation. This idea 92. What about my stream? Is it everything fine? It calls like Dutch gambit. C takes d4. Also after e4 castle is possible. It's knight f3, knight takes d4. No? Now? Can you hear and see me? If rook d1, maybe e takes d4. This, okay. Idea that after bishop takes e7, black can take this check. But Steinitz played e takes d5, very dubious. There is a theoretical line, quite modern. I mean this. Black is playing knight f6, bishop g5, bishop e6, but of course with idea to take with queen. if black will take on f6. If e3, c4, it's idea bishop b4. Even Magnus played this line with black. Black is playing this to avoid line knight c6, d takes c5, d4, knight a4, because now after knight f6, d takes c5 has no special reasons. Black take on c5. So after bishop g5, c5, this extremely dubious line. e3, bishop e6. So white has big positional advantage here. So many possibilities to play. The most logical for me seems just check, and after knight c6, knight g2 to prepare knight f4. And black has big problem not only with pawn structure but also with his kings, where king will castle. So white will play castle and then d takes c5, knight d4, or knight f4. So very bad opening for William Steinitz, but queen b3 I don't like so much, because instead of develop minor pieces, white is playing with his queen, and e4, so he is not developing pieces. And now, after a long castle, black is totally okay, even they have initiative. So quite weak play. Okay, for Steinitz, weak play, I mean opening with g takes f6, for Zuckertort, weak the opening. So yes, now white still has better structure, but black has excellent initiative. He took the pawn already, so black has excellent winning chances. Of course, e4 was a bad move. Still, white is not so bad after knight g2, but no reason to give c4 for black with tempest. So this was much more logical. Now if c4, white can play even b3 or e4. So I don't see anything good for black here. Okay, but Zuckertort managed to defend this endgame. Knight g1. Okay, it looks like black should win this. Probably rook c2 was a good idea. Knight h3 and a5 to fix the pawn. Okay, white still can fight, but hard, and rook a5 he played. Knight h3. Okay, wise defensive choice, because now knight defends f2 pawn and rook is free for another action. White is fighting for draw. He gave another pawn, but now h pawn is attacked. Black wants to push a pawn. Rook d7 he played, however. a3 it's possible, but after a3, rook a7. So rook d7, rook takes d7. And finally, rook d3. So rook takes f6, probably he considered it like risky idea, although maybe also enough for rook. No. a3. If a3, rook a6. If d3, king f3, only move, but enough for draw. But okay, rook d2, rook d3 is even more simple. Let's go to make draw. So draw. Okay, it's quite weak game. So next game, again, Steinitz played with white, Berlin. Is that everything good with stream? So, do you have any wishes? Is it not boring to hear me? Castle, knight takes e4. Now Steinitz. Okay, so bishop d3 not anymore. So now Steinitz changed his plans. He took with bishop. Hello, d takes c6, queen e2. So now black has two bishops advantage. Structure is okay. The most logical for white is to play d4, but he played queen e2. Bishop e6. I would prefer knight f5. And then castle. Of course not immediately castle, because knight takes c6 and queen takes e7. But knight f5 is totally good. Knight d4 is threat, if c3 castle, then rook e8 is coming. Very pleasant play for black. Queen on e2 can be uncomfortable if black will play rook e8 and bishop d6 in next moves. So poor play in opening by Steinitz in last two games. I mean, g takes f6 with black and queen e2 now. But Zuckertort played bishop e6. It's possible, but not so active. Knight d2. Of course, black has more pleasant position. Queen d5 he played. Was possible simply play f6 and queen d7, rook a d8. Black is slightly better because two bishops, bishop e6 is quite strong here. Old game so much, okay. Queen d5, d4, knight d6, knight c5. A little bit strange play for both. Bishop c8. Knight cd3 he played. Another question. Maybe rook e d1 it's possible to consider, but with idea c4. c4 is threat, but black can play knight f5 now. c4 is stopped because knight takes d4. Okay, some old games really interesting. Knight cd3 he played, f6, knight b4, queen b5. Nothing wrong with queen e6, I think, because it's hardly good for white. Matter of taste, who will take? He took with knight. Knight e d3. So now we have endgame. Now Finally, position is more pleasant for white because black has weakness. C7, nothing special, but also problems that black cannot play bishop d6. After bishop d6, e4 is coming, and a takes b5. But okay, probably a5 was good idea. And what is this? If knight c2, bishop f5 is coming. So probably he afraid a4. I think so. But it hardly can be considered like something dangerous for black. So knight d6, for example, simple. Maybe it's possible something more active, just take and play bishop f5, immediately attack. I don't think black is slightly better, looks like just drawish endgame. After knight takes b4, bishop takes b4, rook takes, this. Rook e2, looks like totally drawish. Oh, knight d6, maybe here, okay, if black's slightly better. Maybe, but I'm not sure. For example, rook a d1. Yes, surely black is not walls, so b6, for example, is possible. If knight e3, bishop g6, something like this. But in my opinion, roughly equal position. Maybe knight c4 is more concrete try. If bishop takes c7, rook c8, and then knight takes b2. h5, g5, okay, it's possible, but knight e3, and so knight c4 is very concrete try. Okay, yes, maybe black still slightly better. For sure, they are not walls. But okay, he played bishop f5 immediately, a4. And he played knight d6. So now different story because white has pawn on a5. So I don't know what happened with Zuckertort, if he played for win or because a5 looks like very logical way. Even maybe even knight takes d4 was possible. I'm thinking now. Probably even this enough for draw, because if bishop takes c7, bishop takes c7, bishop takes b4. And looks like drawish line. Knight takes c6, b takes c6. g4, okay, just bishop g6. I don't see special achievement for white. Okay, g4 is possible, but after bishop g6. So it looks like black can force draw with knight takes d4. a5 also was drawish line, as I demonstrated already. But he played knight d6, but now white has pawn on a5. Now it's more pleasant to play with white, although nothing special. Black can play a6 simply. If knight c5, bishop c8, and just hold the position. King f7, bishop f8 is coming on next move. So black has only one weakness on b7, so they can hold the position. But knight b5 played Zuckertort, he allowed a6 now. It's bishop takes d3, b6. So now he has weakness on c6. It's a question how important this king f7, rook d7. Strange. So rook d7 looks like very, very, very strange move to play under pin. So what is problem of but if bishop d6, probably there is problem this, and if c takes d6, knight b4 is coming. Yes. For example, rook e3, rook e3. But the question, how big is winning chances for white even here? Because black has idea to play knight c7, exchange the pawns. So, okay, what else? So bishop d6 is very, very natural. So it's strange that Zuckertort didn't play this. Because rook d7, it's possible consider such a move only if everything else is totally bad. But I don't know what was the reason for so big panic. Okay, maybe if bishop f8, maybe he was afraid. I don't know what he was afraid. Maybe he was afraid something like this. c4, knight takes d4, bishop takes c7, and then bishop b8. But okay, maybe. Maybe this was the reason. After c4, also knight d6 is an option. If c5, knight b5 back. If other move, black is ready to play king d7. So it looks like nothing special for white now. Especially because his king is very far from play. So rook d7 is very bad move. And now black is under pin, and white immediately played knight b4. Now if c5, knight c6, it's nightmare for black. So he's trying to create contraplay, but not convincing. f4, of course. So after knight takes c6, he wants to play f4, looks like. Also, Anyway, this, 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 rook e4, this endgame is much better for white. f3 only move. If not f3, I will take on f4, g3. Very likely black will lost f3 pawn. Okay, knight d6 is only a reasonable move. Now, white has excellent winning chances. Then they will take on f3. But okay, so f4 played Steinitz, even more simple, because black still in under the pin, and okay, c5 he played, but knight c6. Now also white has knight e5 threat, so catastrophe for black. Rook e5 played Steinitz. Nothing wrong with f take g5 simply. Looks like white is totally winning. Elegant finish, so white just winning in pawns endgame. Okay, so already +2 for Steinitz. Next game with white. Although Zuckertort won. It was his last achievement in March. So he played bishop f4 here. But after c5 he played e3. As knight f3, it's strong, it's modern theory. Idea if c takes d4 to take with knight. And if knight c6, knight b5 is theoretical line. And in this endgame, white has three possibilities. Rook d1 check is possible, long castle check is possible, or knight d4. And if knight bd7, this idea e5, this is a recommendation of modern theory, knight bd7, and if queen a4, black has bishop c5. Important resource. And if c takes d5, castle. Idea if d takes e6, knight b6. Obviously, this is mistake. So knight bd7 is critical. But after e3, there is Panov attack with strange move bishop f4. So this, it takes d4. Link, which link you mean? D takes c4, okay. In my opinion, more logical for black was to wait bishop on d3 or bishop e2 and only then take on c4. So bishop b4 looks like much more natural. Black is ready for castle, so if bishop b8, of course, not this, but bishop takes c3 and rook takes b8, and black has no problem at all here. Even black has more pleasant position because of good development. So e3 is objectively dubious move. So, in my opinion, here bishop b4 was the best. After bishop b4, already even black is slightly better. He took on c4, bishop takes c4, knight c6. More natural is to play bishop d6 to check what white will do with bishop, to exchange, or bishop g5 or bishop e5. But okay, knight c6. So now again we have isolated pawn. And again, Steinitz played bishop d7 plan. Usually modern players prefer to develop bishop on b7. So for this goal, they are playing b6 or a6 and then b5. Important that d5, knight a5 is possible. White is losing the pawn. So if not d5, black is ready for bishop b7. Or another plan a6 to prepare b5. If a4, knight d5 is possible, or knight b4. So bishop d7 plan, it's not so popular now because bishop on d7 is not so active than on a7. But okay, modern chess is a little bit different. Queen e2 played Zuckertort. In my opinion, more logical was to play a3 to prevent any activities with queen a5, and now white has comfortable square for his bishop e2 if in case of rook c8, or white can prepare queen d3, rook a d1, so a3 is useful move in this pawn structure. To prepare b4 sometimes, to not allow knight b4, but okay, queen e2 played Zuckertort, queen a5. So probably black wants to transfer a queen on h5. So if a3, I think rook d8 before queen h5 was their idea. I don't know how good it is, but something like this. But we need to check tactics. The b5 is possible. Knight a5, bishop c7. It looks like white is winning exchange without sufficient compensation. So probably after a3, more precise to play this. Now after b4, even knight takes b4. It's necessary to check. A takes b4, queen takes b4. And black will take piece back. Rook a8. But okay, now white can play rook a d1 to prepare d5. Situation is not so pleasant for black. Of course, immediately rook a d1 was possible as well to prepare d5. It's logical choice at least. But I like a3. Aha, queen takes b4, knight e5. Queen takes c3, rook a c1. But if I will take here, what is your idea? Your bishop is hanging, and I have already 3 pawns up. Okay. Maybe immediately knight takes d7 is possible to consider. Yes. And now bishop takes e6. Queen takes c4, knight takes f8. Queen takes c4 firstly, and knight takes f8. And then white will take on a7. So bishop takes e6. Yes, this is possible. And it's drawish. What to play now? With this. Not better, but not worse. So it looks like draw after queen c6. And queen c6 is the best. I don't see. Okay, maybe h6 is just possible. With yes, h6 is also possible. Okay, looks like something drawish. So this is if queen takes e7. If queen takes d7, rook takes f4 as well. So. Yes, white is not better here. But okay, rook a d1. It's if white wants to play for advantage, rook a d1 is possible. Now probably knight d5 is the best for black, but knight d5 white can consider some tricky ideas, and knight takes d5. Bishop takes b4 also. If rook a1, queen b3, knight is attacked, white has no time for. Okay, knight d5, white can play simply bishop d2. Knight c3, bishop takes c3 and d5 is coming. So it looks like correct play for white should be connected with a3 b4 or with d5 somewhere. But Zuckertort chose a totally different plan. He played knight b5. He wants to utilize squares c7 or d6. Okay, there is some logic as well, but a little bit strange for me. a6 played Steinitz. There are other possibilities, of course. Knight d5, for example, looks like solid idea for black. Okay, let's see what happened in the game. a6, bishop c7. b6, knight c3. So it looks like he wants to utilize black queen, but hardly good idea. Black can free his queen easily. Rook fc8 played Steinitz. Much more natural was rook ac8. Yes, certainly I need to admit that in match against Adolf Andersson 20 years ago, Steinitz played stronger. Draft sport. And then b5, and black has no problem at all. And rook on f8 looks better for black than on a8 because black can develop rook on e8 or d8. Okay, so bishop f4, b5, bishop b3, queen b6, and now rook a d1, e d1. Very strange move. If play with rook, it looks like surely that white should play rook a d1, but d5 looks like the most natural. Now black rooks are out of play, so after e takes d5, white can consider also bishop takes d5, but okay, but after simple, white has more pleasant position because rook strange, white has threats, knight e5 or knight g5 somewhere. So very strange play. Or maybe bishop takes d5 is also possible. Black cannot take immediately, and if bishop f8, knight e5 is coming. So white has concrete threats. Okay, probably black can fight with bishop c8. It's a little bit shaky, so I don't see concrete refutation. So after simple knight d5 and bishop takes d5, white is okay, more pleasant position. So rook e d1 is very strange. Okay, maybe wrong with text. Maybe rook a d1 actually was played because rook e d1 difficult to image. So d5 knight c. Only now d5, but now it looks like overlook. Bishop f6. So Steinitz outplayed his opponent. He could take on e3 and have two bishops advantage, but he played bishop f6. Then knight b5. Again, white is under pressure. Yes, so it looks like rook e d1 really was played. Because if not, now black could take on e2 if he matches that. On a2 if he matches that white has rook a1 on e1. Strange. So white is clearly worse because black bishop f6 is very strong. Knight e7. 5. So it looks like black will win another game, but Zuckertort starts his desperative attack. Of course, it's not enough. Black can play bishop f7, and objectively, white has no sufficient compensation. Okay, but it's time to calculate. So, not so easy to understand where king will be better, for example. So king g7 looks natural, but from different point of view, somewhere knight f4, knight e6 motif can be considered. So probably was logical to play about to think about bishop f7 or also king h7 to avoid motif knight f4, knight e6. So looks like white is piece down, black has ideas rook e5 or rook e7. So nothing good for white. Okay, but king g7 he played, rook d1, queen e7. Rook e5 immediately not possible because queen takes e5. Queen e7, knight f4, rook e1, queen d1. Now, I'm trying to understand what is going on, so it's move 41 already. If they have 40 moves for control, and looks like black is Black is winning here, looks like. Because they have peace without sufficient compensation. For example, why not play knight d4? Okay, what can do white? So takes knight d5. I don't see any ideas, but just take. Knight f3 check also is possible. Take. If king h2, queen e5 check is prepared, so king h1, only move, and bishop d6, for example, black should win this. So knight d4 was quite strong move. Probably black has some other ideas, but I don't know. If not, knight d4. Okay, knight d4 is like fourth in line, so maybe knight d5 immediately, however. Yes, I'm in Ukraine. Maybe knight d5 is more precise immediately. So here it's not so simple. I'm considering this. Where king will go, because if king h1, queen h3, black is just winning. Queen g2 mate is threat, rook g1, queen f3. So king f1 is only move, but very hard to believe that this is good for white. So queen h3, king e2. And at least black has rook e5 check. And then queen d7 check wins. Okay, but maybe after knight f3, if king f1, black has nice win this. And bishop b5. If king h1, okay, black can just take, win this. King h1 is not good. So knight d4 looks like black is winning. So knight d5. Okay, I consider all of moves. So black can start with knight f3 as well, but okay, this is more simple, and now knight f3 check. So g takes f3 lost, king f1 lost, and king h1 lost. So black is winning here after knight d4. After knight d5, black can sack exchange. Rook takes d5. No, rook takes. King h1, explain it. King h. Ah, sorry. Aha, after queen h3, knight e6 check. So this is not so easy. So this line doesn't work. It's important. So knight d5, probably not losing. Knight e6 check. Tricky knight. So not so easy in that case. Yes. Okay, so probably knight d4 is not the best. Okay, what else black can do? So what played Steinitz? He took on e1. Okay, it's possible. But he played bishop c3. Why to play bishop c3? It's not so obvious. For example, why not play queen d6? Knight d5. Yes, it's tricky. Yes, it's not easy. Knight d4, knight c7, queen c7, but okay. So it's playable for both. It looks like black cannot be worse, however. Bishop is hanging. If bishop d5 or bishop c4, if bishop c4, bishop c6, if bishop d5, bishop d7, and then bishop f5. So probably this was the best. Also, knight d4 immediately. Okay, knight d4, knight d5. It's possible. Yes, position is not so simple suddenly. Looks like must be simple but okay, another question. Trying to say, why not to play rook c6? Simply avoid fork. What is my problem? So I defended my rook from knight d5. I'm trying to understand what is white's threats. So white has only 2 pawns against p's, and b4 pawn is strong against a pair of white pawns. So if there is nothing concrete, white is close to losing. So rook c5, the same idea, was not so precise because white has this. And they win exchange, but rook c6, what is the problem? Looks like good for black. Black king is open. Okay, black king is open, I agree, but how to utilize this? Are there any concrete propositions how to play with white? I don't see anything good for white here. Bishop c4, okay, bishop c4 is normal move, but now bishop f7 simply. Bishop d3, bishop d3. Okay, but black consolidated his pieces, so white has no threats anymore. Black can do many things. For example, simply take and queen d6. And objectively, black should win this. So rook c6 was strong move, in my opinion. Simply defend everything. But Steinitz took on e1, probably it was mistake. And now situation is not so good for him because knight d5 is coming and he has no good idea how to defend against knight d5. So rook takes e1 is suddenly bad move. Move 41, okay, I don't know. So rook takes e1, rook takes e1, and now bishop c3 he played. Knight d4 was possible. Let's play this position. Also, I don't think that black is worse. Bishop on f6 is good because with bishop on f6, white has no ideas to penetrate rook e7. But okay, he played this. Rook d1, also probably not so bad for black. Bishop a8. Bishop a8 is strange. It's difficult to understand what he wants with bishop a8. Okay, tricky position. It looks like white wants to play a4 or a3. So I still prefer to have bishop on f6. Because if bishop on f6, black don't need to worry about a3. So probably, or a4. So knight f5 was option. Try to come back with bishop. So it's paradox with bishop on c3. It's more difficult to play. But okay, very natural here is looks queen f4 with threat queen g4. Because if queen g3, black can exchange queens, and a3 or a4 is not threat anymore, and black can play, for example, after queen g3, I will take and just play king f6, and only black can be better here. So what else? And black is ready for bishop e4 if in case of h3, and white has no time to play a3 or a4 because queen g4 is coming with unpleasant threats. Okay, probably yes, white is losing because if queen f1, bishop takes g2, wins immediately. Rook, not wins because rook takes d4. So, okay, so black, but black win with knight f3 and queen f4 check. This is winning way. So what was problem with queen f4? It's very difficult to understand. Queen e3 is possible, but okay. Maybe only idea for white, but okay. In this endgame, only black can be better. Queen g4, queen e7 was idea, and this is mate. So, but here, okay, white has chances for draw, but not more, because black has excellent pawn structure in queen's flank. King f2, okay, bishop e5, something like this. So queen e3 looks like only move, but okay, bishop a8 is a really mysterious move. I don't understand. So looks like he wants to play queen c6 or queen b7, but it's really strange. So queen e3 played now. Zuckertort, logical. a3 was logical as well. So now black lost coordination of pieces, and queen e8 is coming. Queen d6. So he wants knight f3 check if queen e8, but just a3. Knight f3 doesn't work because queen takes f3 and black in big trouble already. Queen e6. He's exchanging queens. It was not necessary probably. But he exchanged it. Okay. Bishop d7, knight c3, rook d4. Yes, it's very good for white. So bishop a8 was mysterious and bad move. Yes, now white has excellent winning chances. Rook takes d7. Okay, rook takes b4 was also possible. White should win this. And he won gradually. Yes. And what else? Last game for today, Steinitz with white. So, or already all of this game. We have seen already. So Steinitz with white, it was e4. Probably I already analyzed all of games or not. Check e4. C6. No, c6 is, I explained it. Yes. Yes, it looks like already analyzed all of games from 11 till 16. Okay, in game 11, Zuckertort played. 11 till 15. Yes, so that's all. So Zuckertort won one game and lost two games. So he won with peace sacrifice and lost. What he lost? He lost in Bishop takes c6 in Berlin, and he lost with white as well. So -1. He has only -1 or lost something else. Yes, other games was draw. Yes, so after game 15, he's -1 only. And we can see that that level it's not so good. Okay, maybe because I finished my program for today, so maybe there are some other questions, maybe about the opening or something else. I still have time, I still have light, it's important because in Ukraine there is not always light. I need to charge my mobile. It's charged. Good opening or interesting opening? Okay, it depends what is good and what is interesting. Okay, so for example here, knight e4 or bishop c5. Both is possible to play. If you avoid highly theoretical openings, bishop c5, it's totally possible. And if c3, castle, d4, bishop b6. If d takes e5, knight takes e4, queen d5, knight c5. So it's one of possible variations. Black is ready to play knight e7. If knight takes e5, knight takes e4. Now after queen e2, knight takes e5, knight takes e4, knight, queen e7. d4, knight c6. Important not play knight g6. Knight g6 is mistake here. Because after knight g6, bishop takes d7. Works. Old tricks. Trick. After bishop takes d7, queen takes b7. After king takes d7, queen f5 checks. Pretty strong. So knight c6. Now, if queen g4, h5 is important move. c5. So, of course, white can play simply to take and play c3 solid, but nothing special. d6. If d5, a6. Black can try also a6 immediately. So if you don't like highly theoretical lines, it's possible to play this. Also, I remember this tricky lines. So c3 castle, d4 bishop b6, bishop g5, h6, bishop h4 d6. This is main line. I recommend to everybody to see games of Michael Adams. He is big expert in this position. But interesting that if e takes d4, according to theory, the best for white is queen c1, mysterious move. Idea to prevent g5. So this is a very interesting moment. So d6 is more solid. Yes. It was question about d4, d5, bishop f4. So d4, d5, bishop f4, c5. Okay, so e3 it's Caro-Kann. And you wrote that d takes c5 was what? Knight f3. No. What your opponent played? Knight f3 or e3? Usually e3. D takes c5. Okay, hardly good idea. So everybody, strong players usually play e3 here. And okay, for example, knight c6 is solid choice. c3, knight f6. If this, queen b6. Queen b3, c4. Queen c2, bishop f5. Queen c1, e6. Just play this position. Knight bd2, h6. Then bishop h7 is ready. b3 immediately doesn't work because queen a5 is idea bishop a3. So usually white plays bishop e2 with idea castle and then bishop d1, bishop c2. Black is playing queen d8 to prepare b5 after b3 castle, bishop e7, bishop c2 with approximately equal position. Different story here. Knight f6, bishop f4. Now black has no obligation to play d5. They can play something else, but okay. Maybe now knight d2 is possible because now if queen b6, queen b3, if c4, queen c2, black cannot play bishop f5 immediately. It's important difference. So knight d2, it's logical. But black can take and play bishop g4. If knight f3, if queen b3, queen c8, knight f3, e6. If bishop d3, it's bishop e7. My game against Vladimir Kramnik from Caro-Kann. If knight gf3, Anton Korobov played e6 gambit line. After queen b3, bishop d6. Queen takes b7, bishop takes f4. Queen takes c6, king f8. And black wants simply to play g6 and king g7, and according to theory, they have excellent compensation for sacrifice at pawn. Knight f3, bishop g5 in queen's gambit. You mean this, and bishop g5 immediately, or knight c3 firstly and later bishop g5? Knight c3, okay, depends what you play with black here, because black has many moves. Okay, normal line, this, okay, Moscow variation. Or you mean here bishop g5, or here bishop g5, or after bishop before bishop g5, it's different stories. Or take firstly and bishop g5. So here the most popular line is h6 castle and bishop f5. If bishop g5 immediately, okay, h6 takes, this is theory. Because after h6, bishop h4 not so strong, d takes c4, and white cannot play e4 like in Vienna variation, because if immediately d takes c4, e4 is possible. But after h6, bishop h4, d takes c4, e4 is not good, because g5 and knight takes e4. This is important difference. So after h6, white should take, queen f6, e3, and rook c1, and now this is theoretical line. In tournament in Vaikanzai, Anish Giri won excellent game against Gukesh. It was c5, castle, c takes d4, knight e4, queen e7, he played a3, bishop a5, e takes d4, rook d8, rook c2, totally new idea, at least for me, and one excellent game. So bishop d7, rook e2, bishop c6, queen c2. Now idea if knight d7, d5 is coming, and then knight g5 after e takes d5. So Gukesh played this, and now rook fe1 with idea knight g5. So I strongly recommend to consider this game seriously. How to play for win against Catalan? Okay, for win. Okay, the sharpest try for black, if white starts with g3, to play c5, because now will be not Catalan, it will be English opening after knight f3 and knight takes d4, or Benoni. So if Benoni, it's black has more contraplays than in classical Catalan. But okay, if you play d5, difficult to say. Of course, it's matter of taste, and nobody can recommend way how black can have advantage in this position, because they have not this. At least Anish Giri playing this line quite regularly with good results. Okay, I don't know how it can be considered like playing for win, but he had good position. For example, against Hare Krishna, bishop g5, white played. Knight c3, it's a mistake because b5 is strong. Old trap. Also, if knight bd2, black can play bishop b5, like idea. Okay, knight bd2, it looks like strange anyway, but bishop b5, it's many games. Yes, I have many games. Also with white, I played many games. So bishop g5, knight bd7, knight c3, and now h6, white can take, and b4. It's theoretical line. And c6 important to play. Idea if b5 to play queen b6 immediately, or after ab, queen b6, and to prepare c5. So black can hold this position. But Anish Giri against Pentala Hare Krishna played a5. Not sure that against Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe against Hare Krishna, maybe against somebody else. He played a5 here, And after rook fe1, natural move. Black wants to play h6, but doesn't want to allow before. So his opponent played rook fe1. And now after h6, white wants to take and played e4. Probably it is promising. If bishop b4, knight e5 is coming. So Anish took here and played c6. After queen b3, he played knight b6. I think it was his preparation. So opponent played something like this, knight d5. Sorry, bishop d2 firstly. No, I remember bishop was on e1 somehow. So probably this rook. And now bishop d2. Something like this. Okay, solid position. White is slightly better in my opinion. Correspondence games, okay, it can be good ideas. Why not? Okay, what else? Bishop b4 is line, very solid. And lines with d takes c4, bishop g2, and now black has choice. Okay, a6 is the sharpest, and now white has choice to play castle or to play knight e5. Okay, this is sharp lines. c5. If bishop e3, knight d5. If knight a3, it's possible to take and play rook a7 now. There is theory, I remember, bishop d2, b6, if b5, bishop a5. So this, bishop b7, takes, knight a5, and now rook a7 is important. Because rook c7, queen b6. I remember this is bad for black. White winning. So, but after rook a7, everything is okay for black, because if knight c6 takes, queen a8. Okay, crazy, maybe it's crazy, but it's theory. Now, according to my memory, black is okay. So if queen takes b6, rook b7. And if queen takes d4, rook c7. After rook c1, rook takes c6, queen a4, king d7. I'm not sure that white has enough compensation for the piece. So black is ready to play bishop d6 and rook hc8. Okay, it's crazy, but if you want to play for win with black, okay, so you need to be ready to take some risk, it's obvious. a6 castle, yes, castle, but after castle, black has choice. b5 is one option, and knight c6 is another option. Both are playable. For example, after b5, one of playable lines is knight e5, knight d5, a4, bishop b7, for example, b3, c3, this, e4, b4, this. This is, and black is okay. b3, okay, it's playable. So if you want to play b3, nice, knight c6, knight bd2, yes, it's interesting. Even bishop e3 during last time. Even I have seen queen d2. something very strange, but I have seen even queen d2 here. Yes, knight bd2, b5 main line. Knight e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes a8, queen takes d4. That's b5. It's possible. Of course, White has many ideas. I strongly recommend to follow games of Boris Gelfand with White. He is big expert, and Alexander Kalifman. Queen c2, queen c2, where queen c2? Here queen c2, okay, here queen c2 is hardly logical. Where you want to play queen c2? Okay, queen c2, bishop b7, simply, what is your idea? And then knight bd7. No, knight e5 is almost forced. After knight d5, okay, White has choice. So a4 is not only move. But please remember idea b3, c3 after e4, b4. Okay, this is sharp game. So if you are better prepared, it's like extra. Nothing is simple in chess. Same in life. Okay. Queen d2, what is the point? Okay, I don't know what is the point of queen d2. Maybe White is preparing queen c3 or rook d1. For example, if bishop e7. I don't know what they play now even. Maybe rook d1. If castle, queen c3 now. I don't know. I never analyzed, but I have seen that Igor Lysy played queen d2 line here. So if bishop b4, queen c2 now. And black has no square for his knight. After b5, probably knight e5 is possible. There's queen d1 and then e3 is coming. So there is similar idea in different, for example, this, a3. Okay, in this position, black is totally okay, but correct move is e5. So after e5, black is totally okay. And if d takes e5, knight g4. If knight takes e5, sorry, knight g4, of course. If knight takes e5, knight takes e5, and knight g4. But important trick that, for example, if black plays rook d8 firstly, now after queen takes c4, e5, black is okay. But after rook d8, White has excellent idea. Knight bd2 is strong. It's important trap. So knight bd2. And now White wants to take with knight. Okay, better for black to play knight d5 and e5, and in this position White is only slightly better. For example, rook a d1, knight b6, knight f3, queen e7, takes. White is slightly better here. Uh, why not f4? Which moment? f4. e5. If now you mean f4, queen c5 is extremely unpleasant. Knight f2, knight e3 is coming. So it doesn't work. But I want to show you trap. So this, and it looks like b5 is good because if b3, black can play knight d5, and good contraplay. But b5 actually here is mistake. It's important to know this trap because knight e5 is strong. And after knight takes d4, simply rook f e1. Black is 2 pawns down, but rook is hanging and white has threat e3 and knight c6. So black is almost losing here. This motif, it's important to remember. Okay, possible to play without b5. If you hate b5, you can play c5 and knight c6, but this is totally different line. If knight d2, interesting system is a5, bishop g2, d6. If a3, black is ready to take and play a4. If knight f3, knight c6. Castle e5. So this is very promising system for black. This is play for 2 results. Black is playing without d5, but preparing d6 and e5. Well, so if you hate you can play c5, castle, knight c6. But in this endgame, white has 2 options. Knight bd2 is possible, or knight fd2 is possible as well. Those are possible. And extremely difficult to play for black, to play for win. Only if opponent is weak or not. Yes, reverse at Greenfield, so both is possible. I played this against Michael Adams after knight a5, knight a3. Good position for white. Okay, so I will not wait when light will stop it. So for today is enough, I think. Thanks for your attention and see you next time.